live button. You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And on this episode, we are covering the anime that aired the week of... Oh, hang on, we're in September, so I've got to scroll back. The 24th of August, 2020 to the 30th of August, 2020. With 3 exceptions. And those 3 exceptions are what we shall begin with. And our first exception is Super Shiro, episode 46, The Marvelous Laundry, in which Deca-Dence teaches Shiro how to do the laundry, and also, you dear children at home, how to do the laundry.
Well, that'd be a real villain. You go around being a laundry fairy for this very large family who lives in the neighborhood.
And that's the entire episode. Is a pair of socks is the Boba Bone this time.
Yeah, I think they only the smell is only there when they're paired together, though.
The pair of them might make the bone. Yeah.
Yeah. This got the gorgeous bit, and this sauce got the elegant and wild bit. So when we put them together, these get the full effect. You know.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that your man does fold the clothes in the cool guy way. You know, the kind of flippy way. Yeah. I still can't do that.
I tried a lot of times as before, but I couldn't do it. But I have my own way, which is kind of fast.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does.
Deca-Dence is a very good boy.
He is.
For a would-be world conquering.
I'm telling you guys, he'd be a good president.
He's running on a platform of no wrinkles ever. No wrinkles in our society.
Yeah, because they have to bring the washing in because it's raining, and then they fold it, and then got to dry it because it's still damp.
I did like the fact he gets so into the washing that he smells some socks that smell gorgeous, elegant, and wild, and he's like, "Oh, well, that's not normal. I better put them in for the wash again."
Yes. They've still got some detergent on them. They need another rinse. Yeah, and then they of course blow up. Then we go back to Deca-Dence, who is still doing the laundry. The laundry's not complete until you put all the clothes back in their drawers.
Yep.
That's the key step I generally miss. Yeah. Fold it up, leave it on the couch, forget about it for days. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah. That was Super Shiro this week. I believe there's 2 more episodes left for them to find this Boba Bone.
Time is running out.
Then we've got B&A, brand new animal. Episode 9, Human Scapegoat. This would be the episode everyone was talking about how there's too much exposition at some point. Here it is. Yep. An incredibly boring episode that I lost interest in as soon as Jackie was off the screen.
Yeah, and it also does the thing of like, it's like, hey, it's cool the way the baddies are opposed in each other. And I was kind of thinking like they could be working together behind the scenes, and it's like, yeah, they were working together behind the scenes, and it's like, But
it's totally cool.
Also, it's an it's actually an explanation, which is probably a complete lie as well.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. Like it's like, oh, it was an accident. It's like, it probably wasn't just an accident.
Especially at the end meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan saying, something you're interested, something in the realm of chemical warfare, perhaps.
Yeah. The Jackie scene's great though. She's still got her water purifier, and now she's selling bottles of mineral water-esque
water.
Water.
Yeah, those were good. I did like her thing. It was like, I'm not going to cut the flowers out of people's planters and sell them, and I'm not going to do all this other crime stuff. And she's like, what about this water fucking scheme you got going? It's like, this is different. This is legit. This is legit almost water.
It doesn't have rubbish floating around in it for a start. It tastes good, man. You're interested?
Yeah, my expectations were too high because Kimiko Ino was writing it, and I'm gonna guess she wrote that bit, and the rest of it was just, can you please explain the plot?
On the plus side, at least they get through a lot of it fairly quickly. As things go, they go like, no, this is how the things are. We'll just explain it to you this way. But yeah, it doesn't really achieve anything much extra besides explaining what's going on to us and Michiro.
Yeah. it felt a bit like they got to this point and they were like, "What? 12 episodes?" I thought you said more.
Dear.
Yeah, not good. Particularly after I'd watched so many good other shows that we shall get to this week, because there are some very good episodes this week of many shows.
Yep.
And then I got to this, and I was like, I mean, I knew it was coming because I'd seen enough people talked about it, and I was like, surely I was a bit like, surely it's not going to be as bad as they say, and it might have been worse for me
because you hadn't played it. Yeah.
Well,
on the plus side, if this was a lesser show, you'd drop it, but on this one, it's just like, this is the hump. Just get over it, and we'll be grand.
If it's any consolation, it's far from the episode with the most leaden, confused plotting this week. So.
Okay.
Well, we'll get on to that in just a little bit.
Mm.
Then we got Great Pretender, episode 2, the second part of
LA Connection.
LA Connection, case 1.
Yeah. In which we get some more background.
It's a lot more exposition, but it's handled better.
Yes.
Yes. It's at the start. Well, first of all, it's his background, and then we get the explanation of everything which happened the previous episode, in case you were stupid enough not to figure it out for yourself.
But I mean, like he's talking your man through it, I guess, is the reason for it.
Yeah, I'm getting extra little like kind of things filled in there. Like, for example, the old lady who was boarding like the what was seemingly was being scammed by the water purifier thing, actually was testing them. And also back in the day, she was known for her cons involving using seductive wiles. He's like, hey.
Yes.
Just there sitting in someone else's house, scratching her arse. He's like, you want me to like fuck it, right?
I put the business on him, yeah.
Yeah, Kim C1, aka Dynamite Bomb.
Yeah, man.
Time makes fools of us all. Yeah.
Yeah, so we learned that it's his dad went to prison for
presumably
not necessarily
something dodgy, at least
doing fraud, but just being caught up in fraud, and then he himself ends up getting caught up in fraud, and
like his mom's so happy for him to get a legitimate job, and then he's like, I think I'm selling a legitimate thing. I assume this is how things work, and it's like, oh, I'm not. I'm actually going to jail for a while.
No, it's like it's like, oh, I'm a salesman, but then there's that line about, oh no, it always burns people's mouths on the first taste, the tea that he's selling, that he's bought his mum, and then cut to he's basically Del Boy.
Yeah. Like kind of like a patsy in on the scam. Yeah.
Because he's like selling it for 5,000 yen, and people say, oh, it's too expensive. It's, oh, I'll do a deal 4,000.
Like specifically his boss going, that's too much. Sell it for cheaper. Give me a good deal. Well, I suppose I could sell like 2 for 5,000.
And the boss is Kudo, the guy who was working with him on the scam in the previous episode. And so after he's released from prison,
and his mum has died.
And his mum has died, and he's grasping onto
like a
gachapons comes into it,
because he gave his mum a little gachapon cat, because she likes cats. She's got a little cat hair clip and everything.
Yeah, makes the ending sequence a lot more poignant then.
Yeah, definitely.
And Kudo thinks it's like they've met after they've both got out of prison. And,
man's like, don't try anything dangerous or anything. Yes. He's like, nah, fuck it. The world's fucking me over, so why don't I just rob everything I can?
Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm a scammer. Why don't I just become a scammer?
It's the one thing that when the other company went down for fraud and he was implicated in it. I think he could have played some innocence there, just because your father was also some kind of fraudster. So it's like,
so obviously you were in on it. Yeah.
And it's just following him along. So it's just he's persona non grata to any job he tries to apply for. Like,
and anything later is just like, oh, I see you have a criminal record, and he's like, yeah, but I didn't do it. It's like, no, you got to be honest about these things. You got to accept the fact that you did a crime. Also, we're not going to hire you. It's making us sympathetic towards the guy who was the biggest asshole at the start of the show.
Yes. And we get some information about Laurent claims that he's taken him on. Well, he didn't just hire him. He wanted to pressure him, so he was in on the scam and didn't have a choice. But also because he wants to turn this innocent Japanese boy who pretends to be tough into a proper confidence trickster, as opposed to just being a scammer. Whereas Abigail has a very different take and just says that Lauren thinks with his dick, and that's why he's brought Makoto onto the team.
Yeah. I think she's soft, but hey, well, might have been tell you hot shit in Japan, but you're nothing out here in the rest of the world. You just go back home.
They're trying to get him in on this new thing, and he's kind of like not gonna have it. And he's really worried about it being like this bigger thing. He's like, I said the one thing I wouldn't get involved in was drugs. I did like that restaurant scene. I thought that was very well done.
Looked amazing.
Yeah, I mean, all the backgrounds look amazing. But I did like the thing of him setting it up beforehand where he bumps into the guy, and I was like, what part of the scam is this? Is like, this is him to get out of you owing your man the bill for this expensive lobster dinner.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a little slower. It sets everything up with Eddie Cassano explaining like what a shitbag he is, and to basically make Lauren seem more like a Robin Hood type figure.
Yeah, because afterwards he says, "It's like, hey, I didn't get you this. I didn't let you scam that guy for the restaurant bill. We only rob from assholes and evil people." And I was like, "Is that the story you're selling?"
I think that's it's either the story he's selling or the story he's selling himself.
Yeah,
it feels like Abigail has not bought that story because she seems a lot more hardened, and you're like wondering why is she so hardened compared to Lauren's flightiness and taking confidence trickster as being a fun time.
What's up with that dented metal or whatever it was she keeps in her pocket?
I'm guessing it's a very similar thing to his little gachapon things that he keeps in his pocket. And so
Makoto leaves during the night, and Laura's like, and Abigail's like, we've got to change the plan now. And Laura's like, no, he'll be back before noon. And then it's gone noon and he's not back, and they've got to change the plan. But it turns out they're not the only one who's got to change the plan, because Makoto has also changed his plan. He's not going to return to Japan. He showed up at Cassano's early, still pretending to be the doctor, and has now got Cassano to agree to pay twice as much as he was going to for this. What's the drug called?
Sakura Dream.
Yeah.
That's it, yes. Which they explain was it was a rumoured drug, and they basically, it's like a guy like Eddie wants this rumour to be true, so that's why it's easier for them to sell him on.
Also, they're the ones who spread the rumors, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's all the same shit. It's just like, here's something that sounds just plausible enough that it could be something in it. Like, think about like magnets. Like, do you use magnets? Yeah, on your fridge. Yeah, but also MRI machines that scan your brain. So, if they did that to your brain, what could it do for your like achy carpal tunnel in your wrist? Yeah. Actually, maybe put some magnets on there.
There's also a little bit of line about Salazar, his bodyguard, that he used to be a mafia boss. Yeah. So I assume
he consolidated all the other guys under him, but now this guy's an underling and been given out to.
Yeah, they'll probably play with that tension.
Yeah, that's something for them to use.
Scam somewhere down the line. The reveal at the end is that Makoto has he's got one over on Lauren now.
So now he's the boss.
Run his monkey farm now. Yes.
And he explains his decision to turn around is because he found the gachapon of Hideyoshi in his pocket from the first episode, and he was like, he was inspired again to become a great con man, because that's Japan's greatest con man, a farmer who became the ruler of Japan.
I love the way he was kind of like, and again, it's just from watching Ninja Girl and Samurai Master pretty much, but like he just hands it to this guy. He's like, because of this guy, and they're like, who's this? Is that
Sonny Chiba?
Sonny Chiba? Oh, stop! It's not Sonny Chiba. Stop getting names wrong. Everyone's getting names wrong in the show. But yeah, still good, still very pretty. Does exposition quite well.
Yeah, that restaurant scene was amazing stuff. And there's some really good things even in the flashback bit. I remember, like, particular when he's in the interrogation room. So it's this really intensely red lamp being shone. That's really good. It's kind of almost going with like a charcoaly pastel effect on the outside of it. Really fucking. It's tasty. Tasty is the word. And those
Yeah,
lobsters,
it is.
wow, they look so delicious.
They have like it's such good fucking color theory to watch this, because like the flashback has like these nice kind of pastel-y nearly colors, and then it gets like intense and dark in the interrogation thing, and then it's like a dark hue. But then when they get back to LA, it's all like all the fucking multicolored kind of rainbow things going on. It's a beautiful show. Yeah.
There was like a scene there where like there was like walking in the rain puddle. It's very kind of deep blues and greens, but just like the way the raindrops were rendered coming down, it's just splattering these like ripples and splattering the little shapes within it. It was again stuff. Every frame of painting.
Yeah, and they're smart enough not to make the characters that detailed. So the backgrounds, they stand out against the backgrounds because they're not as detailed as the background.
They fit really well to it. Yeah.
Back to regular airing shows. Extra Olympia Kyklos, episode 14. What is your Thlon? Or
Ithon?
Yeah.
Thlon.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's basically the bit at the end of Pentathlon.
Yeah.
And all those other Thlons that we get to by the song. But here we're worried about. The mayor wants something like the pentathlon for their Olympics.
Yeah, we gotta have like, when you were putting on original Bob's pizzas, then it's like, oh, that's the original Bob's pizzas. We gotta go there. It's like, so we need like original sport that is just here. And he's like, what about shooting olives out your nose? It's like, that's a stupid sport.
Yeah, but the
real fucking sport.
So what our Red is known for, what we're invented for? Now we gotta get something better, something cooler. Think about it.
Oh no! What he wants them to do is to just steal the pentathlon,
or that,
just say we come up with the pentathlon
and paint it on jars. Because people in the future will just think we made it.
Oh yeah. It's like, no, there's some story behind how it came up, so we can just say that we're the inspiration for it, and no, it's just vague enough no one will be able to prove it. So just give us a nice backstory there. Like,
history's written by the first guy who paints it on a jar.
Yes, Demetrius is having none of this. I do like, while the mayor's explaining all this, Demetrius is just playing with the dolphin in the background.
He's like cuddling it like a baby and
yes,
feeding it with a fish.
Feeding it fish, yes. But yes, Demetrius is having none of this, and he cries into his vase and travels into the future.
The doctor is so fucking used to this shit at this stage. He's like, yes, you really like fucking hanging out here. You got nothing better to do now. All right, okay.
And he discovers the modern pentathlon, which Demetrius is like, this is so silly. Not like our pentathlon.
Horses, swimming, that's stupid.
Fencing, what is that?
Our pentathlon's about war. And he's like, yeah, this one is as well, actually.
Yes, let me change the channel to this 1964 CG animation about Napoleon.
I did like that, because it was like, hey, how are we going to update claymation for a different time period? Old janky CG animation? Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, he turns it over from a glove puppet show as well.
Like, what part of history is that? I gotta know.
World War II. That was a film I went to see it in the cinema.
Oh yeah, no, that was actual footage.
Demetrius' takeaway is, okay, right, I need to just find a story and then take that story and I'll find the events in that. And he gets home and sees the mayor being chased by the mayor's wife, who may be also being voiced by the same actor as the mayor.
The same head as one of the Spartans as well. Yeah. This is popped off one of the models and stuck it on this.
And this is where he gets his new events from. Observing the mayor's
escape
flight.
Yeah.
Yes, his escape from his very angry wife.
Skirmish. Because you get some close quarters combat. There's wrestling involved.
Throwing dishes. That's a discus.
Javelin is in there. And of course, the running, the sprint afterwards then as well.
The sprint, the long jump between tiled roofs. Is that an Olympic event?
When you get nailed by a javelin, yeah.
And then our bard shows up and sings a song about what sort of events are in different Thlons.
I did like the increasing desperation, yeah.
Yes, with the dancers, who it turns out are being played by the anime staff.
Excellent. I was going to go, okay, yeah, they definitely hired people to do this. Or, no, they didn't. They just used themselves in this case.
Yes, it's the very last frame. it pauses and gives the ages and positions of the people doing the dancing.
Oh.
Yeah, what's the last one? Is like the Deca-Thlon.
It's
It's like a 20.
It's the Thlon, or it's called the double decathlon, which has
That'd be 2 tens, yeah, sure.
so many events in it. But I didn't even know that existed. An octathlon was a weird one. It's 8 events. But true, I don't know about the Omnium, and the Aquathlon was all the aquatic sports, and the Omnium was all of the basically it's all the running ones put together. Yeah. Do a lot of biathlon at work actually. Winter is coming. So I'll be back on again.
And yeah, apparently 24 episodes.
Okay.
Of this were expected.
All right.
That's nice.
That's really good. It's just like I kind of like as I'm being ready to have my hopes dashed, and it's just no, it's just going to keep happening. It's like, all right, great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a strong argument that it might be the best show of the year.
It's pretty solid. Yeah.
It is.
It gets more into 2 minutes than a lot do in their half hour, or just a lot of them across their entire run.
Yeah, I mean, like it only needs a couple of solid jokes to take you through 2 minutes, and it generally is fairly packed with a couple of jokes and a good song. So,
Yeah.
you know.
It's doing the Ninja Girl and Samurai Master thing where it's tricking you into learning things.
Yeah.
Yes. But also telling you that I like the fact that it will explain a thing with it's only doing history isn't sure that this thing existed. Because not only is it teaching you about history, it's teaching you to question what you learn about history.
Yeah, anyone who watches this isn't going to be like, oh man, I preferred it when I was young and dinosaurs didn't have feathers. It's like, no, this is all subject to fucking change if we find out new shit. Which is good, because that's healthy.
But fur for all we know, and be all being giant teddy bears, you know, because it's that whole thing with the fleshy bits of skeletons, they rot off, obviously. So you think, oh, well, it must look like this. It's the skeleton with the skin stretched all the way over, so it looks super creepy. So all we know, dinosaurs could be big cuddly yolks. We can't find out yet. Maybe we will in my lifetime, I hope.
Then we've got God of High School, episode 8, Close Friend.
I watched this just yesterday evening, and it's still a blur to me. I try to remember it now.
Yeah.
Well, the essential things are Judge Q seems to be one of the judges we're supposed to really like. The wife and child did not die; those were marionettes.
No, that was I was absolutely getting feedback from your chapter fund saying, the readers didn't like that. No,
hey, when you killed that blind man, that was pretty bad. But then when you killed his wife and kids, that was like kind of it's like no, they were okay. It was I made him go to the park with marionettes of his wife and kid. What the fuck? That's weird.
No, that was after. I think that was after the fact.
Oh, like he hunted the wife and kid down after. I see.
Then he was going to hunt them down, and yeah.
Okay.
Whichever one of the lady judge. I don't know what her letter is.
Oh, P.
Yes, it is P. Yes, I remember now the line. Park Moojin calls in Jin to say this blood smear here might be your grandfather. Doesn't show him the arm though.
I mean, like, that's more definitive. Maybe that's a bit too gross to show someone. As like, here, is this your grandfather's decapitated or not decapitated? Severed
dismembered.
Arm? Dismembered. That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah, which kind of sends Jin into a. He becomes quiet for the first time in 8 episodes. And it's kind of the close friends title is because his best friend was his grandfather. And even though he's gained these other 2 friends, he hasn't fully processed that he's got these 2 new friends. And it's not until he runs into a guy who could also be the hero of this show with his 2 pals, the thoroughly nice Park Ilpio, who seems to be the arch enemy of your guy with the shark summoning from the previous episode.
Jigal.
Yes. Runs into him and discovers that his grandfather was a pal with Jin's grandfather, and that, hey, you got to have pals and friends. And then Han and you get messages on their wrist things, and it's his birthday, and maybe you want to go and give him birthday party. So they do. Meanwhile, Park gets to the other judges, okay, well, after he's charged Judge Q another 3-month salary, because Judge Q
he busts into the office going like, how dare you let his wife and kid get killed? And it's like, okay, not only am I super powerful, more so than you got to pay everything that just got wrecked. So now he's only getting 3 months pay this year, which isn't good.
Yeah, and so, but in return for Han feeding him, he's going to train Han to presumably summon something.
Yeah.
Well, at least he won't go hungry if he does go homeless.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, then at the end, Jin gets a letter basically showing where his grandfather is. It appears to be a trap set by Nox.
There's something there at the end. There's like a declaration of war between two factions. You got Park Mujin and all his lads saying we got to protect the key or find the key so we can kill God, and then Nox saying we got to destroy the key so we can protect God. That's what they're against.
So Park says you can take your limiters off and use your full powers now, Judge, including, of course, whichever one of you judges is a spy for Nox.
As well, yeah, we got to put that little detail in there.
I think that was everything which was covered.
Yeah, it is a lot, because your man, like you say, could easily be the hero of the same anime or like a different one, because he does the Tachyon.
Tachyon. It's a very old Korean martial art.
Yeah. So they're both doing the traditional Korean art. They're both really nice guys. I did like that sequence of him using it. I thought they obviously really wanted to get the kind of like the hand slaps really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bit with Park,
yeah,
he beats the guy who's done the summon without having to summon anything himself, which ties into Jin.
Yeah,
that's discussion with Han and Yu when they're talking about they want to learn it, and Jin's like, "No, I don't want to learn it. I just want to be able to do it with my own strength."
Yeah, it's like I don't want to use someone else's strength. It's like, dude, that is your strength. Like summoning, that's your thing that you summoned. Well,
I don't know. It's just really one weird. Like, no, well. First of all, like Jin and Park, Ilio, they one meet outside and they just start fighting each other almost immediately. And then it's like, we both got each other. That's cool. Let's start chatting. So we're just like, where did that jacket from? Oh, it's a McBennett one was like it. That's how I met him. And then Jigout shows up. He's summoning a shark and he's shooting fangs at him. And Park just like stops him in midair. It's like, come on, don't mind that. That's a Jigout. He's a total asshole. Watch out for him. And then he just walks up and they just keep on chatting. And he's got like fangs embedded in his hand just then.
Well, they got free healthcare, so they're fine. It's a weird one. It's very like fighting game story mode rules where it's just like, now we fight and then we have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm of the opinion that if it wasn't so well made, I don't think I'd still be watching it this far in.
I think that's fair.
It's really.
It's had some kind of stinkers, all right, but it still looks pretty fucking good.
It's not that it stinks. It's just a bit weirdly written. I think the characters are good. It's just, and it hasn't the other issue is it's like eight episodes in, and the speed at which this is adapting, I don't know what it would like in I don't know how. I guess it was a weekly comic, but there's lots of there's a conflict, but it's not explained, and the conflict is like such a high level compared to where our main characters are in relation to that conflict. It's a bit weird as well.
The reason I made the comparison, I'm not saying it's a bad show by any stretch, but like the reason I made the fighting game story mode comparison is it feels very much so, okay, get to the next guy, fight him for no reason, even if you're not fucking enemies or you don't need to fight him. It's just like, okay, now next thing. And it's just like, it's very go. We just have to progress through these.
Yeah. And that may change next week if he's going to go walk straight into the trap.
He seems to be like getting involved in whatever plot is happening in the background. But we'll have to see, I suppose.
It's okay to like have with say kind of simplistic, we want to call that characters. So characters are quite straightforward.
Sure.
It's something people can still latch onto. And when it's done well, it's done very well. I still think that by episode 5, what they had there, the two lads just punching their feelings into each other, that was probably like one of the tops of what I can do. It's just like, you gotta give it like a little minute and then give yourself some time to do this sort of organically. I think you've dumped so many things into the mix here that it's starting to get a bit muddled up. Again, that's just probably as well as this condensing a lot into the small amount of time. That seems to be like something that happens to us a lot when it really hits this low point. That okay, this is like where a big valley is going to happen. It's going to be after a cool fight. It's going to be a cool fight on your side of it. But man, it's just a morass to wade through to get there.
Next up is Fruits Basket, episode 21. There was definitely.
Yeah. So we're finally going to go back and fill in every last single detail about Yuki, his childhood. Why did he turn out? Why does he think the way he does? And he's saying, yeah, if you went through that as well, I can see how you'd feel that way, dude.
Also, a lot of it was done as shorthand because, we've seen flashbacks to this scene of his traumatic childhood. It's just now getting them in order. So you'd seen the scene with his mother slapping his face, and it's like, well, why did she slap his face? It was like, oh, it was under this specific context. It's like, doesn't improve it, makes it worse.
Yeah, it's deepening the sorrow. But it's just relating how when he was younger, because he was a rat, and the rat's a very prestigious sign in the zodiac, because it's the closest to God, or whatever it is, however the story goes. So it's like when he should be the playmate of the head of the family. He basically, spent all his time, his childhood into the Akito and is playing along with them. And it wasn't as much of a raging dick that back then. No, still a bit stroppy, still can be a bit sulky, but it wasn't as malevolently evil.
It was more like a kid that's kind of a little prick because they're given everything, that kind of way.
Yeah,
it's just like it's just a kid, they don't know any better kind of thing. But
yeah,
something off screen happened and did turn him into that kind of malevolent motherfucker.
That's why it goes completely. Berserk is painting the walls black, saying, "My world is darkness. Everything in the world is pain."
Yeah.
Just like me, Yuki, you're gonna fall into status quo. I'm saying, "No, I'm not like you, Yuki. At least I got something to do. You're useless. You don't do nothing. Everybody hates you." What was it? I usually 6 years old or something by this stage. I was like, what are you talking about? I want to do it to me. I'm scared. It's like, that's right. You're useless. You're right. Everybody hates you.
And he kind of goes through all the bits towards Yuki, as he's growing up. It's like, here's the reason why that cat kid hates you. Here's the reason why the bull hates you. It's just fuck you. You suck. And it's more so I'm propping myself up by. It comes across as I'm propping myself up by knocking you the fuck down.
Yeah,
but
it's just because just by the nature of things that all the Zodiac they're kind of kept their own sides of the room anyway. Whenever they had the big meetings, it's just well, he's 6 and he doesn't know any better. Yeah, just the only person I really know outside of my parents maybe in his family is telling me this, and everyone is keeping away from me. Even this that major man over there, my older brother, or he's actually meant to be anyway. Even he. Doesn't seem to like me, and then he goes outside, and Kyo is there, and he is cusses him out because he's in his eyes a rat is his mortal enemy. Again, poor Yuki, he has no idea of Kyo's got this beef with his zodiac sign. It's just,
I could be wrong about the timing there, but I feel at that stage, Kyo's mother has killed herself.
Yeah, by this stage,
and naming in the suicide note it's hey, I guess I would have preferred to have the rat as a kid. Which is a shitty thing for your kid to know about your suicide, but yeah, a lot of the situation is shitty.
Yeah, and he just internalizes all of this, and this from all of the actions that we kind of see. He's just we cut to the bit where Ayame is leaving the house, and then he wants his big brother take me with you, and then he is rebuffed by Ayame, and he just thinks, it's because he hates me, because everybody hates me, and he just is swallowed up in this darkness. So he's going to the fancy private school. You can see even other members of his family going to the same private school together and messing with each other right down the street, having fun like normal children. He's just why can't I have that? Why can't I have that?
Again, he's kind of made alone by his mother going yeah, you get to go to the prestigious school, unlike the rest of the family and shit, because we're the best ones, because we're the rat family. But he does meet some friends at school. Some kids kind of reach out to him. It's hey, come on, let's go play soccer. It'll be a good crack. And he's elated in this simple act of very basic fucking human kindness. And hangs around with him a bunch because a bunch of them are in the Soma estate, I guess. But he forgets to watch out for little girls who one of them bumps into him, turns into a rat, and they all get their friendship and memories wiped. I mean, he's just like, what? That's the one thing I fucking had. Motherfuckers.
It just gets fucking just pulled away from him again and again and again. And
yeah.
He just cannot seem to get a break. And he was already in poor health, but his health just starts just failing altogether. And she's just like much bedridden. And now he's only got Akio to come by here and just like one poke at him again. No, it's just.
I like the thing with Akito kind of going to the parents is like, oh, do you mind if I talk to him? Poor Yuki. I'm going to go say something to him because obviously he's not feeling well. And they're like, oh, what a sweet kid. And the kid goes over to him and is like, why don't you just fucking die? I was just like, Jesus Christ, kid. That's fucked up. But that's the thing to send him over the edge into either rage or he didn't know if he was going to have to kill himself or going to have to just like, fuck this. I'm running away from home. I deserve better than this. But it was like some motivation to kick him out of the house.
It was just something like he is just told like you're useless, you're needless in this world, but just I'm gonna just fucking live. I just imagine it's fun to find live like a fucking human being for at least one day. I'm gonna get the hell out of this house and just keep on running. Just like this spur of instinct, just like I just kept on running, and then I ran some more, and it was a cold night, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And he runs straight around the corner. He passes this like running up the hill. It's like. There's a little girl crying there. That's don't know what to do about this. And we go right in the corner, and there is Toru's mom, back in the day with the long hair, and she's in hysterics, talking to the police, saying, "I've lost my daughter. We gotta find her." It's like, okay, what does your daughter look like? She's got a round hair tie, and she's got a cute face and a cute dress, and she's the cutest little girl. I mean, that's obvious. Why you do it? Go find her.
Yeah, and I like the way she switches from like sorrow to anger. It's like if she might have been kidnapped. She's so fucking cute. If someone kidnapped her, they'll pay. It was nice. It was like, yeah, that seems about right for her. But he's like, oh fuck, I saw a little girl, and he kind of heads back to her, and the little girl instinctively just starts chasing him down the street, but because it's Toru, she keeps tripping and keeps being slow and whatnot. Yeah. So he has to stop and wait for her.
And he has no idea how to interact with people. He's just like completely socially inept, understandably.
He's just kind of waiting for her to catch up to him. They don't really exchange any words or anything, but he kind of leads her back to her mom. And I think he got the hat off Yuki because he wanted to give it back to... Or sorry, Yuki got the hat off Kyo. But he kind of pops it on Toru's head and then just runs away into the night.
And that's how Toru got that hat.
Now we know the rest of the story. And he kind of cuts back to him talking to his new friend / the co-manager of the school.
Kakeru.
Yeah, I can think of his name. And he's like, "Hey, you haven't told me the story yet." And he's like, "I'm just going to give you the outline."
He's like, "Every for the last 20 minutes, word silently, just like thinking about things. Are you all right?" Just thinking about my childhood, that bad memory.
And he kind of, the way he sums it up is like I was in like a really fucking dark place and I didn't know what I was going to do. And Toru basically was, in a way, like was there for me to matter. Like I mattered in someone's life. I made a difference, even if she didn't know my name or if I existed or anything. I made a difference, a positive difference in someone's life.
Yeah.
And that gave him a starting point. And then she came back into his life and he realized who she was again, but he kind of lost his will a little bit and he feels like a real fucking guy who's been given a second chance, but he didn't, the fact that he fell a second time, he was like, I fucked up there. And I think that's the part that's giving him real shame about it.
But I think he's like, he's also as well, I think this comes from the way he's seen at school. He's Mr. Perfect. And he is, in his own mind, he's anything but. He is, I feel like I've stumbled and fallen, I can climb myself back up again, but then I second guess myself, and then I'm left stumbling all over again. It's this episode with Akido that's shaking him now back down. In fact, he was really kind of coming into himself there recently. But after that summer beach house trip, he just seemed to just fall back into it. No, his bold from stance after that notwithstanding, but he thinks now I was probably like doubting myself actually inside. But I don't know. He's maybe like what's going on with the student council and why he's kind of Well, he's kind of like, being able to properly parse what Toru means to him, why he adores her so much. That's the much he sees her as this romantic interest. He sees her as this somebody who would look after you. It's kind of ask for a sense who you are and be compassionate, understanding, and just listen to what you have to say. So in a word, a mom. I wanted to be my mammy.
Like, I feel like straight after that scene, your man should have started taking the piss and was like, dude, she's the same fucking age as you. But yeah, at least he's kind of figured out the way he feels, and like that's another way for him to move on from where he's at. Yeah, it was nice to get the stuff in order. It didn't feel like too bad for it being it's like stuff we've seen before, but out of order and just out of context in some cases.
Yeah, really lays it on there as well.
Sure.
He was there for that moment when he was there for somebody that mattered, and he's just this sad little rat that's crying on the street corner. Oh no, it's so sad.
Then we've got Wacky TV Nanana, episode 20, Turbo, Master Takahashi's Adventure Island. An episode which does just feel like they got him to play Adventure Island.
Yeah.
For legal reasons, it's distinct from that.
It's an island of adventure, not the Adventure Island.
Like, I doubt it'd be as funny as like their little pixel graphics that they made for this, but I do kind of want to see just the footage of them playing the game badly and then him just kicking fucking ass at it.
Yes. With the joke we forgot to mention last week about how they got him to come along with them, is they paid him in
thongs.
I thought we mentioned the thong bit because he
maybe we did.
He was really interested in the exclusive thong that he really wanted to get, but they ran out of
as
them.
I was
Banana
watching
mesh.
it, I couldn't remember. Yes, that's it. Yes, the Gilgamesh tea back. Yes, and that's the power up they use to get through the level they're stuck in this episode.
32 taps a second. He's doubled his speed. Incredible.
But he does die at the end of the episode, and
Yeah,
that's what's starting to rumor that he died. We don't want that happening.
So
No,
did they power him up with thongs again? I think they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
I'll come back for that. No problem.
Yeah. What is the parody on that second thing? The thing which causes the truck to fall on his head.
He does the Konami code.
He does. Then... The second thing is another thing, and I did used to know what it was because it was familiar, but I can't remember now what game it was.
Like, my brain was like, is that fucking Castlevania 2 where you gotta wait for the... Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I thought as well.
It might be fucking 3 or 4 games for all we fucking know, yeah.
Is it like when, like, A Link to the Past, when you got to, like, dash into some walls to break them?
Could be as well, yeah, because that's literally what he's doing.
But it's specifically 3, like, is that something?
Yeah, pushing back 3 times... which in this just shakes the cliff that the Jeep is on the top of, and it falls on his head, killing him briefly, and then he dies again.
So is he dead at the end of this? I assume not.
Well, possibly for the purposes of the rest of the series, but
I mean, like, in real life, it's going to confuse the shit out of people.
Yes. Well, because, they make a joke about... I assume there must have been a Twitter trend at some point of people thinking he was dead.
Oh, yeah, that happens to celebrities all the fucking time.
They make a comment about people will think he's dead for real again.
Dear.
And I like the fact that the credits are done in the same style as the episode. And it was a different style of graphics to the last time they did a video game episode.
Yeah, this was, I think, like NES. I'm going to guess all the references are like NES ones, because I think the Castlevania and the Zelda one would be the same.
I think it is just Adventure Island references, mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was wondering were they going for like a specific era of video game references.
But that was it. As again, doesn't take long to surmise because they're very short episodes. But yeah, again, the fun of this one is the fact that there's not much acting going on. They're just hanging out with their hero.
Playing video games.
Then we've got Deca-Dence, episode 8, Turbine, in which, in order to do the plan, they're going to have to do a heist. They're going to have to steal Kabaragi's old avatar.
But we know Minato. We know what kind of guy he is.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they're all going, yes, he would definitely save your body. And Jill's like, what on earth is this
Why
guy?
are you all very fucking sure of this? That's weird. The fact that all of you are sure.
Donatello going, yeah, that's totally something Minato would do. Yeah, I can all say, yeah, totally.
Yeah, you get the feeling that Minato's in love with Kabaragi as well, for sure, by the end of this episode.
That's why I'll be bros, like back in the old days. Go on raids, get them sweet rare drops.
So yeah, they have to go to the Deca-Dence and steal the body. And as they're doing this, what's the big blocky guy? Yeah, him.
Well, the first up, your one gives him an anonymous phone call on the thing. He's like, I'm getting too fucking many of these lately. Yes, who is this? It's like, I heard you got some secret shit in your fucking files. And he's like, fuck off, I'm hanging up on this call.
No, I was not involved in an accident.
Okay, now let me close my secret files because someone's at the door. Oh god, it's the boss. Hey boss, yes. I heard you got some secret shit. Come on, we're going. And he's like, fucking hell. He's having the worst day.
The Bumbleball is very unhappy with you.
Yeah. And yeah, there's some good. I love, particularly when he's in his human form. He appears both sinister and comical, of course, by the end with the punchline, and it plays out like it's a very comical heist, and the tension is, that you assume that our heroes are going to get to the body and steal it before the bad guy does, therefore saving Minato's hide.
But it's just how they go about it, because obviously they're looking for that specific. They're looking for the thing manually in the grid, whereas your man's just like pulling it in with the computer, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get to it before he gets to it."
Jill's wondering who's tipped him off, and I'm still wondering by the end, because you would assume it's
Turkey.
Yeah, Turkey. I figured it's Turkey, but
it is. But I'm not sure there's anything during the heist that seems to indicate.
Like I figured the thing that was to indicate it, because obviously at one point Turkey and your man Sarkozy's avatar are hiding from the big block dude, and he's like, shut up, oh wait, this is your avatar, there we go, that's how I shut you up. And that's the kind of show that's like, yeah, I feel like that might be foreshadowing, and I hope it's not foreshadowing to regular Sarkozy.
I think Turkey could be like running his own like thing because he wants to take leadership of this this faction of cyborgs from Donatello or something like that.
Yeah, and they take the body and they replace it with some sort of cyborg sex toy.
It's like, let's see what we can see in your secret stash, and it's like, well, as long as you use it privately and in your own time, and not in office hours, I don't see the problem here. We're all consenting adults. Which is just like, it's just like a slightly more awkward scene. It's like, I mean, like, what was he using Kabaragi's body for? But that's a different thing. It's a different thing.
That was inside the body when we found it.
I was like, well, I don't need this, so I'm just going to put it back.
So he comes back later, he's meeting like, Cabaret, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? What's this?
Dear.
What are these photos you have of me?
Also throughout this, there is the mystery of exactly who is Jill and how does she know all this stuff? How can she access all these systems?
Yeah, because they're like, oh, how do we get past this fucking barrier door? And she just walks through, and they're like, who the fuck are you? And she's like, I'm just a bug. Like, I'm going to guess you were a fucking programmer for this entire thing or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or she invented the system and then the system turned against her.
Or developer, maybe, rather than the programmer, yeah.
Then they convince the cyborgs to rise up because, that shit you shovel when you're asleep, they inject that shit right back into you. So essentially, you're just pieces of shit.
You're shit that cleans shit and eats shit.
Everybody throws up.
I did like Donatello kind of going, is like, yeah, we all know what the thing is, but why don't you elucidate it to them? And he's just like, I also do not know, because he's getting sick as well as soon as they mention it. And everyone's saying, is like, isn't that what your man's booze is made out of? And it's like, that's different. We know, at least we knew that was shit.
Gets loaded. That's what matters.
Yeah, Psychosis definitely set up in this episode as being the weak link
Yeah.
As they're going to use his alcohol to bribe the guards to let them know. Well, he already gives the guards the alcohol, so that's why he's in with the guards. So that's the way in to tip them off that Kaburagi is planning to destroy the factory.
Yeah, and Turkey's like, dude, we're going to get in trouble anyway, so we might as well just put those two up for the chop, and then we and all of our friends will be safe. Isn't that
the
better?
reason he needed his body, we forgot to mention this, is because his body doesn't have a chip in it.
Yeah, because he's been turned off, so his chip is off.
And there's a force field which disables anything with a chip.
So it'll turn off an avatar. It'll probably kill a human, and it's just like, we can't get in there from the because Gabaragi's plan was to go from Deca-Dence, but they're like, but it'll because we can't get up the lake, obviously. But and he's like, it's like, but you can't do this job on your own anyway. And he's like, I know a guy.
I got someone in mind.
Because as soon as it said, it'll kill a human with a chip, and I was just like, oh, good thing you know one of those. Yeah.
So he goes and sees Natsume back in his old body, and they're in, and then Minato comes down to try and convince him not to do what he's going to do. I do like how in the darkness with the streams on Minato, it looks like he's crying.
Oh yeah. But his like his circuitry or something is flowing underneath. This no man. We thought we just wanted to get you back into the game. Do some raids. We could have been bros again. So that's why we trying to put up with him for like one thing, like
what's the old days back?
It was like saying like Cabaret has had a thing about this like the system, man, and why it's got to go. Can't think of it now. It's gone off in my head.
It's a pretty good line. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he wants to fight. He wants to go back to the time where they would fight together, side by side. So yeah, he's kind of, but he's not going to betray him. That's for sure. And I feel by the end, then they're probably going to turn the Deca-Dence on the system itself, and we're going to get a fantastic. Maybe the Deca-Dence will go into space and punch the satellites somehow.
I was just noticing a thing in it there, just from watching the Kick-Ass opening credits again. But the Deca-Dence, this guy's two big hands. It's got kind of like a very dark metal kind of palm. It's got the purple fingers. And Natsume's hand is the exact same way. So I kind of wonder if there's going to be some kind of cool bit where she's got to like hook up to it, or she's got to be the one to like set it off with the punching action herself.
There's definitely like stuff in that intro that's leading into it, because I saw the bit where it looks like Kabaragi's robot body like guiding her through an underwater section like a video game, and I'm just like, that's the thing they're planning on doing soon.
They do bring Minato does bring up the point of, okay, once you've smashed the system, what are you going to put in its place? Which I'm not sure this series has the time to get into that. It made me realise the Gurren Lagann is a show which does that.
It smashes the system, then goes like, now that that's open, that's a huge problem in another regard.
Yes, the thing I like about Gurren Lagann is the idea that your wartime leaders aren't necessarily the people you want to lead you in peacetime.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure 5 episodes, including the throw of the system, Deca-Dence is going to necessarily have time to explore that. But maybe that's for Deca-Dence season 2. We'll see whether it does have that. But it's still great. It's still top-notch quality show.
It would be just really kind of liberating. It is the popular feeling right now. We all feel that we're under the heel of this big companies who are somehow buying everything, including the fucking places and things we live in and the systems thereof. So just to have something that's just no, fuck all that. They're going to treat us like shit. We're going to show them what shit can do.
Except now, once he revealed it was Wreck-It Ralph, which inspired him, I can't help but see that all the time.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's just considerably less deep than some of the possible inspirations. Yeah,
yes.
Sure. It's not quite Philip K. Dick. I get you. Yeah, it's fine.
Then we've got my favourite thing of the week. Appare-Ranman, episode 9, Short Break.
See, initially, I was worried about it being short break, and I was like, we got to get back to the race now. We've been fucking waiting for so long, and I was like, no, this episode's great. I was completely wrong.
Yeah,
I will admit that. Yeah,
this could have very easily just been like a clip show thing, or it could have very easily.
It's a bottle episode. They're stuck in this town for a little longer.
But it was saying that if you use like these little like vignettes, and you get to see unusual pairings now, because one might not have time for this when they're racing against each other, which seems to be like when we have it in like legit next week.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just bouncing off each other and showing off their hidden little foibles and also hidden skills that we would not expect that person to have.
Yeah. But it opens with them deciding that Seth's explaining that they're going to change the route of the race so that this guilty cigar guy can't interrupt it anymore. And Richard Reisman's like, I'm too scared. I'm going to have to pull out of the race. It's too much for my weak constitution.
He-Man going like, oh yeah, you saw all those people die. We all understand it. It's not the cowardly way. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. You'll never see me again.
So yeah, then Al suggests to Appare that he goes and speaks to Seth about the engineering problem he's having, because Seth used to be an engineer. So that leads to a bit more of Seth's background, and we see why he became disillusioned with being an engineer, as people not listening to him and cutting costs.
It just being about the business rather than the I guess the scientific like discovery and development.
Yeah, because Appare points out there's a weird empty space in
his engine. Yeah,
and we get the flashback to what was supposed to go in that weird empty space. And we get Hotato and Dylan talking about the woman whose photo
Claudia
that he looks at.
And yeah, he's lamenting the entire episode. It's like, man, if kids are looking up to me and thanking me, I'm not much of an outlaw. And like the entire episode does not make him look like much of an outlaw, because it's like, hey, who's that woman you're crying about? And he's like, shut up. And one of the other outlaws goes like, hey, your hair looks bad. And he's like, what? Like,
no, it doesn't. Man. You look bad. Shut up and go get a drink. He just goes to the barber. Just a little bit on the top, please.
It's good stuff with Dylan, yeah.
There's a recurring bit with birds landing on Tristan's head whenever he stops moving.
He's Snow White.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a Disney princess. Like he's feeding a squirrel later. He's just lovely. Except obviously when you're gonna buy those apple pies, bro, like wear the mask. And he later asks like, why did you ask me to wear the mask? Was there a queue?
Yeah, good thinking. I didn't want to spit a lot humongous to go buy all the apple pies now, would they?
And I like how his brother's also a big softie as well.
But he acts harder, yeah.
Yes.
He knows how to put up the front.
He's the one who's offering Hotato some real advice, because
the advice is fucking amazing, and the fact that he ends it with "and brush your teeth after sweets."
Yes.
It's like, you lame motherfucker.
It's like, yeah, we're the bad brothers. We're do some crimes.
Yeah, sure you are, bud.
They're like fun Kazuma Kiryu, the best gangster, the best yakuza in the world.
TJ is complaining that his bounty's not high enough and nobody wants to try and arrest him.
Like, that's the premise of this race, dude. No one will arrest you during this race.
And he gets this argument with Al about whether he's lonely or bored. And so they have a drinking contest, which Al instantly loses.
Tequila's hard to drink, man. I get
okay,
it.
we got a second. It's like Sophia steps in. Oh, well, I guess I'll give this a try. And he floors TJ. It's like, oh, you did it already? I've never had tequila in my life. This is pretty good.
But then also, like, just how much alcohol has been drunk is also visible on the table.
Yeah,
bottles and glasses.
She's polished off quite a few, and she even is like, oh, there's still a bit left of this, so she kind of takes that one for the road. And just TJ like on the floor, like knocking over the shot that's been put on his forehead. Is like, that's a woman. Wow.
As leaving, she's got Al on one shoulder, she's got the ball on her hands, just like perfect poise. It's been lovely meeting you all. You must be leaving now, though. It's just,
does a half curtsy, and everyone in the bar is just like fucking impressive. But TJ gets some good bits as well when they're playing in the pool, like your man's throwing the kid into the pool, and TJ's like, throw me.
You know, extreme. I want to get some of that.
The central gag is Appare just wandering around thinking, oblivious of his surroundings.
Oblivious to the dangers that are around him, and when he wakes up from his fugue state, he's on a donkey about to crash into someone's house.
Thomas Edison's house.
Oh, that's right, specifically, yeah.
Who gives him again? He gives him his best quote. In keeping in tradition with Thomas Edison, stealing everybody else's ideas.
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah, everyone ends up at the bathhouse, which leads to embarrassment for our two Japanese characters.
Well, one Japanese character.
No, they both end up naked. But
yes, no, but one is only embarrassed.
Yes.
Para's like, why is no one else's dick out? I don't understand.
And why are the women in here as well? This is a public pool. But then the guy get Kosame and Appare into the old-timey stripy swimsuits.
Yeah, and it's like, well, we have different cultures. Teach us some Japanese traditions. Do you have any fun Japanese games that we might be able to turn into violent games, for example? Yeah, they do.
Appare's still thinking in the pool, which leads to the other Hototo just spinning him around like he's a log.
I was wondering, was that like a setup for like, I figured out how to do it. It's like, I'll get a rotating cylinder or something like that. Has he been inspired by a freaking groundhog using him as a log? Yeah. There
was also a little meet cute earlier with Kosame and Janlan. They were like,
that's true.
Sparring in the woods, and just asking why do you practice the sword? Like, consider what happened to your mother and all. Well, it's because like I feared and respected. I wanted to be able to be good at it, so I won't have to hurt anybody or have anybody I love, I care for get hurt. And why do you got martial arts? Well, my dad was old fashioned, taught me kung fu.
That was a good bit. I did like that, where the little training montage in their back garden, and then it's like I had to fight him to get in the race. I kicked his ass. It's just like
it's just one punch or one kick and he's down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can understand. Your dad just wants to look off. He's probably worked after his cute young daughter wanted to get into the race. Cute young daughter, right? Oh, that just slipped out. Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a cute sister.
Why are you going to the pool? Let's go, buddy. Yeah.
Yes, because it's when was the last time he mentioned the woman he's supposed to be marrying? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
That part of his urge to get back to Japan seems to have disappeared out of his mind.
He's been distracted by many things.
And there's some and we're saying it's a lot of downtime, but the animation may be better in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, it's more fun character stuff, and that's the thing you kind of want to see animated well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely bits where they've definitely done like studies of real people moving, both in the bit with TJ in the bar talking to Al, and the bit with the two women in the baths. I was like, someone's definitely been studying how real people move and is trying to get that into animation.
Just that repeated gag of like when in drinking contests when they're flying back and they're fucking 3 sheets and this one,
that's good stuff.
The flailing limbs are really good there.
And when the bit with the donkey going completely wild, the look on the donkey's face with Appare completely still on its back.
He's got like a child's toy dragging off his foot, the other foot in a bucket, wearing the barber's coat because the barber thought he came in for a haircut. The one guy who fucking needs a haircut on the show. Good stuff.
Well, he did. The barber did explain that Dylan needed the nape of his neck tidying. But no, that's what TJ spotted, wasn't it?
Like TJ is like, did you get a haircut? Yeah. No, it's always this fucking good. It's like, no, it looks neater in the back here.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to think none of these hard asses are actually that fucking hard. I think they're all fairly fucking decent.
Well, I'm sure we'll see how hard they are once
the race continues. Sure.
The real guilty cigar shows up to. Well, he's getting on the train with Sophia with a sinister look on his face.
It's like, aha, I do have eyes.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to double cross the rail barons as well by the end of it. It feels like a foolish man who hires the most dangerous and wanted criminal in America to come and help you execute a plan.
No, I'm sure it'll all be fine. Episode 10, to Bridge to Hell. It's only a name.
Yeah, cracking stuff. I hadn't realised the director is also the writer, and
yes,
I was like, that explains a lot of why the script complements the animation so well.
Okay.
It doesn't ever feel like they're working in opposition to each other.
You're
not getting anything written which doesn't work well in animation. I looked at what other things I'd seen they'd done, which was the Professor Layton movie, and I'd seen one of their Shin-chan movies. The one where the dad gets a job in Mexico. He also did I think the most recent one they did was the one with the butt-headed alien. I do have that to watch at some point as well.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I mean, it was just good. It's like just to have this, just to have the episode to take the time out and just really appraise you a lot better. Some of these characters, some of you've always seen like a little bits of. I think like TJ, maybe Dylan a little bit as well. It's like, oh yeah, they were like trying to get across Death Valley for a good bit of this. We haven't seen them for a while. Let's get some fun bits with them. And
yeah.
These are all the rivals, these are all the opponents, but it's like I wouldn't mind if any of these like got to finish time. They all seemed like equally worthy of the grand prize.
Yeah.
And so it's fun as well when they all band together to fend off the real villain.
Yeah, I'm going to guess based on Chase's line to Hotato that Hotato's going to save somebody at some point, because he's talking about he's going to use the money to protect his family, and Chase is talking about, well, you might want to think a bit harder about the sort of people about the people you'd want to protect. It's like suggesting that there's probably people closer to you right now who you may want to be protecting at some point. So I assume either any of our two main characters, or possibly Tristan, given how close Tristan and Hotato are or even Dylan, because that's another person he's close with throughout the story. But yeah, I'm assuming they'll unite against our villain down the line. Probably.
I didn't think he was going to straight up pull out of the race. I thought his car was like the least designed, and I was like, okay, is it because it's like filled with like traps and guns and shit? But it's because he has a separate side plan that doesn't involve being in the wacky race.
Yeah. I wonder if that's going to like play over the next 2 or 3 episodes, and then we'll get like a proper race to the finish.
Yeah.
To wrap things up, because I don't think he needs to be a threat right till the end. He's a threat. He's the threat, which is like the race may never end. So once he's eliminated, then you can actually get to a race.
Yeah.
And everyone can play themselves as fair characters. To the point where I guess you wouldn't mind which one of them won.
I suppose you want the characters, our heroes, to win in some regards so they can get back to Japan, but honestly, they'll probably I feel like they might just stick around.
That's the thing, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Harry necessarily wants to go back to Japan.
He just wants to work on engines, and they're doing a lot of industrial revolution right here, so why not?
Yeah. Then we've got Millionaire Detective Episode 7, Money is the Root of All Evil. Guess it had to get to this title eventually, with all these money phrases. In which we learn that, yes, indeed, Daisuke and Cho are investigating the very same things, and in the very same direction, as we get the first half is a flashback to the original investigation of the murder of Sayuri Kanbei. And it is being done by Cho and the current head of Division 1, Takai. But he wasn't the current head of Division 1 then.
He was wet behind the years. He was just a new partner of Chosuke, and they're just like doing the whole cop thing. We're getting some like dinner out. It's like, we got the call. Okay, Bill, please leave the money on the table. We're out to the murder scene.
I did like it, instead of like doing like sepia or anything, everything's widescreen. That was fun.
Yeah.
It's an old detective movie.
And the oh, and also their boss at the time is the boss of the Modern Crimes Prevention Task
Kiyomizu.
Force, Kiyomizu.
He's exactly the same voice, but he's younger and I'm gonna say hotter. But yeah, I did
Not so cuddly, not so like the
not,
physical
not
big
not
teddy
so
bear man.
not so round and cuddly like you say. Yeah, but you can see it's just like, because he seems a lot harder as well, especially in some of the scenes. It's interesting to see the change. It's interesting to see the changes in pretty much all the three characters we know from Future.
Yeah, like when we see him in the past here, and then make him up in the present day, like I'd like to. It's pretty good character design. We can kind of see, yeah, is actually a good likeness between then and now, without just without just putting a beard on them. You know, there's like actual other details here that like you see how they've aged. And
yeah, it's not just a simple thing of your man's beard growing out and his hair going grey. He's like, he looks more fucking like thinner, like not just thinner from getting older, like thinner that life has fucking made him skinny.
So yeah, they're stonewalled by the Kanbei family, specifically the grandmother, because that appears to be the only. I guess the only people who they could be stonewalled are the grandmother and Daisuke as a toddler. So the grandmother's the one stonewalling them. So Cho steals a photo album, which they get a witness to look through, because there's no photos of Shigemaru, according to the grandmother, who's the husband, who is the suspect, who supposedly is not in the country. But the witness identifies Shigemaru as the murderer from the photo album. And Takai's father-in-law, the police director, is keeping an eye on the investigation.
Yeah, it's just gotten close, because as well they got some reports from the scene as well. It was something tied to this research
Dolium.
into like an experimental substance.
Yes, a dolium, which I assume is the substance they were investigating from last week. They find a locker key in the photo album with the same symbol for adolium on it. They find the locker, but in the meantime, they discover Shigemaru has committed suicide. The dental records match, so it must be him.
Yep, car went over a cliff, but I mean, like, it's all, this case is shut, boys.
Yes.
Very unsatisfyingly, as obviously your man has been hanging on to it for years.
The key goes missing.
That's weird, because only you and me and the chief knew about it at the time, because we're the only ones who knew. So where'd it go? Where's the key gone?
Then we're back in modern day. So essentially, this was the them up keeping Kato, Haru Kato into updated with this information. Takai thinks Daisuke is the murderer in Amura's murder, the exploding car from the previous episode, because they believe they spotted him following her, and they think, oh well, he can probably hack her car because it's a smart car, a super smart car.
And it's more so like your man as the chief of the first division. He's kind of like looking at it as like, yeah, we got him, boys. And he's kind of gotten into the thing of just close the books on the crime. That's the way the fucking police. Whereas the other guys are like, no, if it's not a clean fucking close, then it's not really closed ever. Which I thought was interesting. Yeah, that he's gotten into that.
So Haru rings Daisuke and he goes, yes, I hacked her car, which infuriates him, so he's going to smash through the gates.
Not thinking that like a billionaire might have reinforced gates in his mansion. So just running up the driveway, the car is fucked.
Yeah, you never see. I love that, because you never see the results of the action guy. I was like, fuck the rules, and just smashing through the chained fucking gate or whatever. It's just like, yeah, but that would fuck up your car though. And it's just like, you just like falling apart as it gets up the driveway, because it's a long fucking driveway too.
So yeah, but Daisuke, he explains now that he's only interested in solving this murder himself. Or Sayori's murder rather, and but him and Cho, I think they both say that the two things are connected. Then Takai's leaving the office when gas pours out the air ducts in his car.
Crazy knockout gas.
Oh.
Well, he thinks he's dying.
Mm.
And he has also. It suddenly turns into a far weirder show than I thought it was going to be.
It goes
And
very what was the thing from last season with all the memory changing stuff?
Pet.
Yeah, it goes very pet because obviously he's his old self in his young memories, and they're there eating the ice cream. So your man spitting out the fucking chocolate again. It's like what the. I thought that was quite nicely done.
Yeah.
Is this the afterlife, Chosuke-san?
I did I went back and checked because in that scene in the park you do see two people sitting further down from them, but like I don't think you can make out it is actually them from the future who start walking slowly up to him. Yeah, some really good kind of trippiness.
Yeah. So it's just going through this vision. It's all him back in the day, and it's like going back over those the details of that case, and it's like, where did the key go to? Where's the key gone to? And then it's like, okay, and it's like, oh, I gotta call somebody. I gotta call him on the phone, and then it's like, yes, all you gotta do is just dialing it in, and then you see like the figures in the background. It's Haru and Chosuke coming, just walking in. So you know this is like either some kind of elaborate scheme, or this guy's been fucking given something to make him hallucinate this, some kind of truth serum or something like that.
A little bit of both, yeah.
But that's as soon as he has a phone there, and you can see the number straight away on top of it, that you know that okay, this is obviously some kind of con, and they've used some kind of like millionaire thing to make him do this. And like they have done that. They have him strapped to a bed, or just staying down a bed anyway. But they've been like beaming a VR like illusion straight into his eyeballs.
Like with this blank white set that they can be rearranged by these robots. It's like a very basic holodeck.
Yes.
I mean, it's still fancy as shit, obviously.
Yes, it's still 58 million euros worth of virtual reality.
Yeah, that was a big cost. That's like one of those was just getting the gate replaced. But
I figured repairing the car is probably not gonna rank it up a little, but yeah, the VR and the drugs are probably gonna cost a bunch. Sure.
And it's just to get him to key in a number into his phone so they can find out who he was afraid of.
Mm.
During the investigation, which was the now deceased police director, his father-in-law. So yes, Takai is the one who was interfering in the investigation for his father-in-law.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it for his own sake. He was doing it from orders from higher ups. But yeah.
Yeah. But even then, you gotta think, like we knew he was gonna go places because he's married to the director's daughter and that. But I'd say maybe doing this little thing for them might have helped him climb back ranks a little bit faster.
Yeah, staying in line with the department, doing what the higher ups tell you to do, that kind of thing. And even your man at the end, when the case is like not solved, he kind of like, here's some money for the new kid, because you feel bad for him, because like he's like, oh, my wife's due any day now, and like it's like, oh, my wife gave birth 2 days ago, and they're still working on the case, and it's like, it's like he's been pulled away, and he could have been pulled in the same direction as this guy who lives only to fight crime as a detective.
Yeah, whereas, I can't raise a child on a detective salary. I gotta be thinking about getting up there a little bit. So gotta watch out. I wonder how they knew that all his memories were in widescreen.
Got a very wide face.
It's but yeah, there's some change in visual styles of like the two changes in this episode. I thought were, if it's like a good midpoint trick to pull. In a season, and yeah, the reveal at the end of what they actually did was even better than it suddenly taking a surreal route. The fact
like it's silly and ridiculous, but at least it's like it's perfectly logical and normal. Like they don't need to explain this technology that beams fucking holograms into your eyes or anything. It's just like, yeah, it just fucking does.
We'll make the criminal hallucinate into giving themselves away. I was like,
that's good.
It's very Batman stuff, and yet it's not something I don't think Batman has ever done. It's normally I was thinking about it. It's normally villains do it.
Yeah.
Except the Spectre. The Spectre does it supernaturally. It's a very Spectre thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, like this would be if the Scarecrow had Batman type money, I guess.
Yes.
And was trying to fight crime. the opposite.
Or if Mysterio was a superhero. I mean, who could think of such a ridiculous storyline as Mysterio pretending? I mean, that is literally the very first story.
It's the very
Mysterio.
first thing. It's been several times when he's been rebooted. It was in the new movie. Sorry for spoilers.
If Ghost Rider was a hacker.
But yeah, it's a nice bit of sudden science fiction, but it's not sudden science fiction because we had the last 2 episodes have been science fiction as well, with the jamming and the gas
and it's not dissimilar to what he was doing to trick your one into thinking she committed a crime by overlaying you running over someone on her screen.
Yes.
I tricked you into thinking you did a crime. I'm now tricking you into admitting your crime.
And
you actually
while he was hallucinating, because it was gas originally. At no point was I thinking, oh, this is just going to be an elaborate virtual reality system.
Yeah. It's a nice pullback, and it's very well executed. It's still a great show. Yeah.
Then, Niall, tell us all about Healing Good, Pretty Cure, episode 22. Don't Go Latte, Fading Body and Fresh Emotions.
Yeah. In which we need to teach Cure Arts this thing you humans call love. It is that episode.
Oh dear.
So just let me use the spare room in Nolika's house. So it's like, sure, you just I gotta go to school. The folks gotta go to work. So you just like stay and mind the house. And sure, you mind the dog. Like, says, okay, I've seen this done before. I will fulfill my prime directive and take care of Latte. And it's like, okay, I'll feed you now. It's like, oh, that's too much food. Okay, well, I want to make sure she eats plenty and stays healthy. They just put the blanket over him, then another blanket, then another blanket. And like, oh, that's too many blankets. It's boiling out. It's like, yes, but I want to make sure you don't catch a cold. And then it's like, okay, it's so nice outside. Let's go for a little walk. Like, no, cannot go outside. It's dangerous out there. I must make sure Latte is safe. It's like, well, no, stop. You gotta go outside. You can't be doing that. It's like, no, I gotta get Latte safe. Like, and then just runs out the door without everyone saying, but what? So then reports come in. There's a ghost walking around. It's like, what the hell is going on? I was worried about her being left home by herself. And it's like, oh yes, she is walking around the street and she's gone transparent because she is so sad. So the guy like got a Brooklyn type run her in, and it's like, see what's wrong with her. It's like, oh, well, it's just like, yeah, I wish to take care of Latte, but when I try, I seem to just drive her away even more. It's like, yes, well, you wanted it because you Latte daisuki desu. So this thing you kind of love her, you want to take care of her. However, you can't be such as too much love. I need to be like convey that love in a proper way. You understand me? And this thing you're feeling right now, where you get this like discomfort, that's sadness. You're feeling sad right now, so. You feel sad, but you think Latte does not love you back. Oh, I see. I understand. Here, anyway, try this. Like, have some buns, make it feel better. It's like, these do taste good. That's right. And you'd like something, it tastes good, it makes you feel good, right? So that's what you're trying to learn here. The same with this. So it's good what you're doing for Latte, but it's more than just these things. So, I'll tell you what, come by tomorrow and I'll show you me practicing the high jump. So they roll on down their next stage, and Chiu is practicing the high jump. And it's just like, no, she's setting the bar pretty high this time. Yeah, I know. He's like, just knocking it over. She's getting pretty high. He's knocking the bar over. It was like, he's all tuckered down. It's like, then he gets asked, why do you get up after you fall down? Well, Master Bruce, it's because we can pick ourselves back up again. But it's because, no, I like the high jump so much. And even though it's a lot of hard work and I fail at that sometimes, I really, really like it. So even when I feel that I might I didn't get it right this time, I keep trying and I'm trying to get it right. So it sounds like something you could probably become. Yes, I understand a little bit what this thing humans all love. It was no time for that now. Monsters come on. It's like a tap, as in like a faucet for water, and it's running amok, spreading pollution all over the place. They immediately grow supersized and better animated. And they start smushing around the place, and it says, oh no, it's trampling all over at the kids, like their tennis nets and all of their sports equipment, the things that they love. I will not stand for this. I will not see someone else's love get trampled over. So she got just able to get onto the scene again, like, because Latte was afraid of her before, because she was just going to be like, like overly strict with her again. If I say, I understand that I was wrong, and but it's something I want to keep working on, because I really do like you, love you, and treasure you, and I want you to feel safe in the same way. So I'm going to kick this monster's ass. So if kind of does that, doesn't want to see it, kind of trample away with his love. I'm going to blow you away, literally. Smacks the monster up. Pretty good. I know that there are dismembering before the monster gets inevitably like vanquished. They chop a bit off, so you got a bit of crystallized monster to chop into, make it grow big immediately later on. So yeah, she successfully learned this thing you humans call love, and next week she will learn the thing you humans call cute, because she loves the dog but doesn't quite know why. It's like, you love the dog because the dog is cute, and we're going to show you what cute things mean.
I'm not watching this show, but my suspicion is it'll turn out that she's actually a human who's lost their memories.
Don't know.
Just based on the transformation, the weird thing of her putting a lab coat on before she transforms.
Well, that's just a theme.
Sure, I know, but nobody else does that when they transform.
No, they do. They do actually.
Do they? Oh, I'm looking at the transform videos.
Yeah. Well, they're doing that. They're doing that the truncated version for the main trio whenever they do it. But
okay, right.
The Kyklos one is newer and cooler, so we've got to show that in full in all of that all at once.
When you were saying that, Brian, I figured it was like that. She'd be like a prior version of the medical-based Pretty Cures or something like that, like in the older dog. That kind of
well she is this like apparition, this like kind of golem or version of the older Pretty Cure who preceded them however many centuries ago. It's only just the appearance of it. It's just a robot otherwise. So they gotta teach it all these things about what cute dogs are and why we love them. Yeah, just pretty, just inconsequential, just frivolous kind of stuff. But it's nice, Good faces as well.
I'm looking at the YouTube channel. They appear to be live action shorts to go with it of poorly puppeteered soft toys of the mascots.
I thought just put a tiara on a dog and leave it at that.
No, I'm not sure. The dog does not appear to be showing up in the previews, so I guess to not destroy the illusion of Latte being a real dog. Whereas the other ones are clearly anthropomorphic animals. Yeah. Other glove puppets. I'm now looking at the videos because you can see the arms. But they have no articulation. It's not like glove puppets where you can stick your fingers in the arms and...
So wait, it's just someone's hand shoved into a teddy?
Yeah, sort of. I guess they may actually be glove puppets they sell, but
yeah.
It's more like Hulk hands. You put one on each fist and start punching your siblings with. Boom, boom. I saw some Pretty Cure. No, we don't do it. We're about the love and the feelings. No, I saw about all the dive kicks and punching monsters. That's what I picked up from it. Boom, boom.
And then our final thing to talk about today is we may have, I think, oh dear, at some point Dwayne has frozen with his finger up his nose.
My finger up my nose? That sucks.
I don't think you actually have your. I think you're just scratching your face.
Yeah, but now I look like a fucking moron.
That food is taken out of context.
I'm gonna go on and off with the camera just in case to save my my fit. Well,
yeah, I'm afraid I was not paying attention, so that may have been like that for
hours.
Hours, yeah. Historical record. We had this problem with you freezing last week as well. In the meantime, it's One Piece. That's what I was looking for when I went back to the notes. I saw Dwayne frozen. One Piece episode 939. The Straw Hats Run. Save the captive Tonoyasu. In which we get some idea of who this Tonoyasu fella is. Turns out he's a former daimyo who's been in hiding as a male geisha, they say. And he's going to be executed because he's a rebel. And we get to hear Kazuki Oden's voice during a flashback, who is provided by Hiroya Ishimaru, the voice of Koji Kabuto, and the dub voice for Jackie Chan, which I guess is why he's been cast here as Oden, because as we'll learn, Oden definitely has Jackie Chan-like qualities. Trying to think what else happens. It's everyone reacting to this mainly, isn't it? I don't think there's much more of anything else.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the right one, but like I saw some screenshots of this because there was somebody a producer animator who came out of the storyboard of cinema, and it did look quite nice actually. Is it one where Tonoyasu he's been caught and he's up on the pole now?
He is up on the pole. It ends with Toko screaming "Daddy," and it zooms in on her face as he's about to be shot at the end. But a lot of it is people looking up. The Straw Hats they basically run protection for the people of Abisu Town so they can get to see their hero.
Yeah, the guys from Abisu Town have ran all the way there, and Toko's ran all the way from the winter biome.
Yes.
So this must have been happening for some time. But yeah, they're not really running to save him. They're just running interference to let the people get there.
Yeah. We also have Komurasaki's funeral procession where she's going to be cremated. And this is the thing which I was like, okay, this plays... I think this was even the point at which it was clear that... the fellow who's organised the funeral and supposedly murdered her is definitely up to something. Because it's like, at no point is everyone saying, oh, she didn't die. Like, we know she didn't die because we've seen her in numerous episodes. But to go through with the pretense of the funeral and the cremation.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he's that dumb, so...
No.
So why do he keep going on with it unless he's not actually as bad a dude as he seems?
Yeah, but it also seems like his men also, because everybody, there's like so many of his men involved in this funeral. It's like they must surely know as well, unless there's a very good fake body in there somewhere.
Isn't it also his men who are guarding the dudes in the middle of town?
Yes.
Yeah. Got his fingers in lots of very interesting pies. It's weird the way those guys weren't executed. As you literally said, it's like, hey, you betrayed a shogun, you get executed. These guys are all in a conspiracy. Put them in a cage for later. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. And Yasu says, I was not the thief after all. I was just saying that to draw attention to myself. And so we see like Oden in shadow in his flashback, don't we?
He's not really that much in shadow. You could make out
not much in shadow. No.
Yeah.
I think it was about the same in the comic in terms of obscuring his full appearance. But yeah, you can pretty much figure out what he looks like in this episode.
But it's establishing like a little bit of him and his relationship with your man in the before times when it says, oh, he never smiled. And it's like, no, he's smiling with Oden a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, and then it's I didn't remember Usopp riding around on the back of a bear.
I feel like I would have remembered that, but it was appreciated. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, and Robin and Nami running across rooftops like they're in a Wuxia movie.
Cool.
I liked a lot of the transitions as well, like transitioning from the snow to the sakura blossoms, and then from the sakura blossoms to like like autumn leaves when they're doing the flashback. I was like, oh, that's nice. It's a nice little transitional thing that they do between scenes.
And this has been projected around the country, including in the prison. So it's traumatizing Hyogoro.
I did like the way they were fat up to the point where sad things start happening, and then instantly the fat's gone. It's like, that'd make this scene a bit awkward.
It's got to get serious.
Oh no, that's my best
I better
friend.
sit down for this.
Yeah.
I will say Luffy seems nonplussed until he sees that it's making his old man friend upset. And I believe it's next episode we get the explanation of why the people of Abyssal Town are always laughing.
Like, because this episode is like, will the Straw Hat save the old man? And then, like, at the episode preview, it's like, well, he dies valiantly. I was like, don't just say it in the preview. Come on. Jesus.
Well, apparently they've done this before because somebody was commenting about how in a previous preview it suggested that Trafalgar Law was going to die in the very next episode. So there's people in the comments convincing themselves that Yasu is not dead.
All right, so crucified and shot twice. All right, we'll see what fucking happens.
Of course, it is One Piece, so there's a very good chance that even if he does appear to die at the next episode,
the cover story will reveal that he survived. Yeah,
he's going to throw up a few more scars, just as happy as ever.
But unlike the current cover story, people will be happy to see him when he returns, after seemingly dying. Whereas the current cover story, someone returns after seemingly dying, and nobody gives a toss.
That's really funny, but as a reader, I'm very glad that guy didn't die. I'm just like, oh, that guy was cool. I'm glad he was like,
a hard go of it.
Yeah.
It is, and he's still having a hard go of it.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
incredibly tragic, but it is hilarious.
It's tragically comic, I think, is the thing, or comically tragic. He finally got reunited with his family, and his family were like, "Get the fuck away from me, weird creepo man."
Well, for Yasu, it would be, we already know that the villains are the nefarious as all get out. We know there's obviously ample evidence there that they're either badass and bad dudes, but also they killed the soundest fella in all the country. Like, he was super sound to everybody he met, and they killed him as well. So if he stayed there, that was showing, these are like villains beyond compare now.
And that is everything we watched this week.
That might have been too much.
Yeah.
Yes, it may have been, and I've not even started talking about all the 80s adventure and detective shows I've been watching. That'll be for my Crazy Like a Fox podcast. But we'll be back here next week. Niall, is it Wednesday next week?
It ought to be. Yes, that will be correct. Because I am on Nightston. Yes, Wednesday the 9th.
Okay, we'll be back here Wednesday at 7:45. So join us then on the YouTube. Otherwise, if you're listening, thank you very much for listening on the podcast. Enjoy the steady flow of MP3s when I get around to editing them. I haven't done last week's yet. I shall do that tomorrow. Otherwise, One Piece may have to go. I managed to squeeze it in this week, but it was a tight squeeze.
I'll probably manage it next week because I want to see how they handle the Beast of Town
I
stuff.
may have a suggestion after we've done this first arc of Great Pretender that maybe we just talk about each arc in one go.
You think they'll be better as a unit?
Possibly, but also there's so many new stuff coming up in a month's time.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a great show. I don't want to stop watching it, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
And I don't know how long we're going to have to wait for that last arc in English either.
Yeah. But as well, like, we know they're going to be clearly laid out in 3 or 4 episode chunks, and it's just like, if you ever see the whole thing, if one big picture, and especially for something like this where it's about sleight of hand and misdirection, it's just like, if you were watching carefully in episode 2, you would have noticed that he's going to do this conning and at this juncture, that kind of thing. You might fall between the cracks there.
Yeah, and it's a rare anime that I feel like I could binge watch. A rare TV program, in fact, I feel like I could binge watch. But I'm happy to carry on watching for the rest of September. This first arc.
I feel like I have more success getting through these Netflix ones in particular, just because like I have a commitment to watch at least one a week for purposes of this.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
There are exceptions like Wacky. I finished in a couple of days because that's this entertainment distilled down into like a bite, like a very powerful pill you swallow when you're just immersed in entertainment. But I think being a bit regimented helps as well, because these are some pretty quality things. I feel like, with time to digest it. It's just you can get a bit more out of it. I mean, we're still talking about B&A, and we're probably still talking about Great Pretender for a good while as well, long after everyone that's watched all of it over a weekend
and forgotten it. Yeah,
so they can like have their clever posts they can put up on social media, because I watched it all and I think of this. And well, yeah, but you're going to remember this by the end of the year because you just ate it all like a glutton, and now you made yourself sick.
That's the thing. That's what the other thing I'm worried about is. I think I might watch up to episode 5 for this first arc, and then hold off until everything's up there, with that final arc, because that's not even on in Japan till 21st of September.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. If it's not starting till then.
So, in Japan, and then we've got to wait for the dub and for it to go up on.
I forgot to watch that in the dub. Fuck.
The UK version. So yeah, we'll carry on pretty much as we are for the next few weeks, and then the new season will be upon us. And
oh man,
fucking hell! Right,
it's just the overlap, because you got these fucking things here like Appare-Ranman, Millionaire Detective are just like creeping in there, throwing the whole game off.
Old favourites returning, and new things I really want to watch.
Would it be weird to do like a bi-weekly podcast just for a little bit until shit works out?
It's not the podcast part of it is the problem. It's finding the time to
watch it. No, dude. How long is the podcast going to be with all that extra shit? Think about it.
Oh, well, I'm not going to watch all this. I'm going to have to do what I did and only pick 6. I mean, I'm still only watching 6.
Fair enough.
Niall who's watching 2 more things than I'm watching.
Yeah.
And you're watching 1 more thing than I'm watching. Yeah, it's the 6th thing. Is the 6 half-hour shows is my target and my limit. But it maybe kill your darlings time.
Yeah, look, got a high school is going to be resigned to. I will watch this myself and pull the fight scenes from it for my own use later on. If it's not.
I think it's only 13 episodes anyway, so
it might be done in time.
It'll be done by then, but like no, even this. But the thing is, this was a sort of get for me. Albeit I was just back from a weekend away, and I had to cram it all to basically 36 hours. But of 26 hours between waking, sleeping, and doing anything else I needed to do. But I got it in somehow, except for One Piece. That's still felt under pressure.
Yep. Podcast over. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry about that. It seems to freeze up when I dick with the camera at fucking all is what it does. But at least